This podcast is brought to you by Bonus Room Productions and We Own This Town.
I am Jason T. Meares, Esquire, and I'm Kelly Hoyle Bolick, and we are Dimas Today.
How's it going, Kelly?
Pretty good, JT. I'm excited for two reasons. One, I just watched Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, and I just have so much to say. I've never been more excited for a franchise than after seeing this movie. And then number two, we've got a special guest. We've got a really good friend of ours, a incredible artist in her own right. We found out, actually, when we came up with this idea for this podcast, she was already ahead of us, man. She was already watching the entire franchise. And so
I know. I was following her tweets, and I was like, Jasmine, you got to calm down. You need to wait for Kelly and I, because I was so excited to see somebody else doing this during quarantine.
Welcome, Jasmin Kaset. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. So, boy, am I happy to be here.
Finally, you've got two other people to talk about the Fast and Furious with.
I mean, okay, so one thing I got to talk to y'all about. I know that y'all had me on for episode 3, Tokyo Drift, but I think you guys are watching the movies in the wrong order.
Yeah, I think I know where you're going with this. But, you know, we decided we do the order of release for kind of like maximum effect.
I smell what you guys are cooking. I know that there's going to be a timeline shift with this.
Well, this movie takes place in 2013.
It does, and it was released, what, in 2006?
Yep.
I'm pretty confident that in 2006, they did not realize that this movie took place in 2013.
That seemed like 2013 drifting to me. I don't know.
Okay. You're right. I mean, it was really foresaw what was to happen with the drifting circuit over those, 7 years. Major shifts happen.
Okay, no, there's something about the timeline that sticks out to me just because I watched these about 2 weeks ago. We watched one every night. And I did the same thing as what you're doing, Kelly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Hobbs and Shaw. After the first one, so the second one, I haven't heard y'all's second one yet.
It comes out tomorrow, so. That
was a little bit tough. I mean, that movie, it was good. Like when he landed a car on the yacht, that was sick. But by the time we're at the third movie here, like I'm really starting to miss my family.
Yeah.
And boy, I mean, I know I'm skipping ahead, but boy, is Dom a sight for sore eyes in that last scene, like.
I yelled when that happened last night to the point that my roommate called me out on it today.
I mean, they really make you miss them. That's the only reason I think, in hindsight, obviously 3 fits a lot better, linearly between 6 and 7, but also after 2, you're ready for the family again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think with the first movie, that theme of family, I mean, that's what really hits home. That's what I loved most about the first movie. Just everybody eating a meal together with a Corona. Am I right?
Yeah.
You are absolutely right. I mean, I've never liked Corona, but after watching that movie, I will absolutely fucking order one. I mean, without hesitation, without irony. Jasmine, when did you first start watching the Fast and the Furious movies? Did you watch them as they came out, or did you come to them later? When did you get involved?
2 weeks ago, I saw Tokyo Drift in the theater.
Whoa!
And I think I might have seen a couple other ones, but not. It wasn't a thing that I was following. The interesting thing about this series is that you do start following it, with an ironic sense, and then by the end of 7, you're weeping.
I think that's the best trick that they did, because they were stumbling along, right? The first one, neat little genre movie. It's fine for what it is. They cash in because it's so successful. They do a terrible sequel. The terrible sequel doesn't do well, so they're like, well, we have a franchise here. How do we continue this on? And they ended up doing Tokyo Drift, which, again, it's okay, this is just Tremors 4, right? I mean, whatever. We're using the name. We're going to have some similar elements and then move on. And then, the next one, it ties back into the first one. And that's oh, cool, they went back to the core cast, and that's great. And then eventually, something clicks, and is wait, this has gotten so much better than the previous 4 installments.
So good, yeah. It gets insane. But Tyrese, I know I wasn't on last week, but Tyrese, he really settles into that character. He really becomes awesome later. It's really annoying in the second movie, but like by 7 and 8, he's fucking hilarious. Excuse me.
No, you were excused. Feel free to go blue, Jasmine. Yeah, it is, because they figure out the character beats and everybody kind of settles eventually into an archetype, and it just works so smoothly. It's a very well-oiled machine, how they're able to cherry pick from.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Tokyo Drift, huh? The opening sequence of Tokyo Drift, like Lucas Black in Seattle or wherever he is, like racing against that entire like first 20 minutes of the movie, I feel would have been exposition in any other film. I feel like we wouldn't have seen that.
Did you notice the guy he's racing at the beginning?
Yes, it's the guy. It's the brother from Home Improvement.
Yes.
And he's beating an effigy of a Native American, and candy is coming out.
Yeah.
It blew my mind.
Yeah. He also looked a little bit like Randall from Bill and Ted, but tying it back into San Dimas. But that's 20 minutes of movie, right? That could or maybe even should have been relegated to 2 sentences that Lucas Black would have told to Bow Wow after he meets him in school, right? Like any other movie, the movie starts with Lucas Black showing up at his dad's doorstep.
Probably a good excuse to get a opening car race sequence in.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, I totally get why they do it.
I mean, it's sick how he like rips through that subdivision, and then it also kind of implements. Every man has to have a code. I think it's actually Shaw who says that.
Yeah,
but,
I think it is.
It kind of implements Sean's code, which is that it's not the ride, it's the rider.
And there are little things that set up in there, like when he's going through his high school day, where he's going through security and like going through metal detectors, showing that like high school's more of a hardship than maybe people make it out to be. And again, the guy's 24 and playing 17. So you got some definite 90210 stuff going on here with like just okay, that is definitely an adult man or a narc. A
federal agent later on in life.
And then there's the fat kid getting beat up in shop class, and you're like, oh, is he going to be the hero? And then he's like, oh, he's not going to be the hero. Wow, this guy's dangerous and not quite it just interesting choices. It goes on so long, and then they throw in weird details like the mom who is
trying to sleep with the
I just it boggles my mind. And then they throw in little commentary about like class inequity with like the other two, like the home improvement kid and his girlfriend getting off scot-free just because they're well connected. It's like this is a lot to unpack for a movie about drifting in Tokyo,
Right. Like,
well, I think what they're doing is they're trying to like bring this in to our world. I mean, I know you guys aren't into like talking about what other casting was considered for these movies, but
we're totally in.
We're fully in.
I did read that Channing Tatum auditioned for the role of Sean in the movie, and I think that a big reason that that they're casting a guy like Lucas Black is because he looks like a guy that would go to Gallatin High School, and this movie is like completely appealing to a guy that would go to Gallatin High School. It's like making him a relatable country boy character.
All right, Jasmine, are you saying that Lucas Black could not carry Magic Mike?
Yes. I saw his nipples.
I was going to say that the nipples blew that. I do want to give a shout out to my boy Lucas Black because he started off as like the kid in Kevin Costner's The War and Sling Blade, and grew up into Friday Night Lights, and then really hit his terrible acting yet lovable vibe prime in the NCIS New Orleans series. So I do have a lot of love for the guy.
It's Peyton Manning in a wig. I mean, that's pretty much all I see when I see Lucas Black. It just I see a Papa John's commercial when I watch Lucas Black act. I will say, like, the end of the movie, Tokyo Drift, is so good that I don't care anymore. Like, he actually transcends and really rises to the occasion. But, man, man, he's a charisma suck.
He's just he's just a regular guy. He's a sloppy drifter and he's a regular guy.
Seeing him in other roles, he always injects Alabama into everything that he does. Like there's always a Roll Tide or like a Bama Boy or something like that. Yeah.
And I'm not going to hate on the guy. I genuinely like this movie. I think he's fun in it. God bless him. Let there be room in Hollywood for the Lucas Blacks. Let there be the Bama Boys out there. Why not? We don't need Channing Tatum to be the star of every film, right? Right?
No, totally. I think he's perfect for the role because he's bringing like this movie about like this completely unrelatable like culture to the average watcher, and a watcher like me. Like I don't understand those cars or those roads or those laws or anything, but like he's bringing that into like something that I can relate to, and he looks like us.
So spoiler alert for the listeners, we mentioned this last week, his character on NCIS New Orleans was killed off this season, and I've heard the rumor is that he's signed on for a certain F9 movie that's coming out in 2021.
I know he's in it, man. He's in it, dude. He's in it. He's back. And also, I read the Bow Wow again.
All
right. Yeah. Which I did appreciate. What was his name? Twinkie? Was it Twinkie?
Yeah. Twinkie. I don't know. Like, yeah. He was always also kind of like the Virgil showing Lucas Black around, this foreign land that he was unfamiliar with.
It's kind of sick how at the end he just has like $10,000 in the back of his car.
Yeah, it is. Han would have wanted you to have this.
Yep.
$10,000.
So can we talk about Han? My God. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, he is the MVP of this movie.
He really is. I mean, like, I don't know if this movie's any good without Han.
Han is so chill.
He's the chillest, like that. The whole demeanor, and I wasn't sure what to think at first, because you didn't know if he was just being cool, but would turn out to be a really bad guy, and then he just ends up being the same speed the whole movie. Unfortunately, till he dies. But I did a little background on this, right? So this was the first Fast and Furious that Justin Lin directed, who I know he did like the next few movies and is like the major director of the series. But the first movie he did that was before this one, I think it was called Better Luck Tomorrow.
Yep.
This actor was in that movie as Han Lu. And so this director, when he got to Fast and Furious, he decided to write this character into the movie. And so Han apparently has his own origin story in this movie, Better Luck Tomorrow, which kind of blew my mind. And now I'm going to have to watch that too. So.
We should actually, I'm going to suggest that we watch that as part of this series. I've never seen it either.
I'm so down.
Jasmine, would you like to rejoin us for that one?
Yeah. I mean, I'll just watch it, I guess. I don't have to be on your
But
No, we'd love to have you back.
I heard from somebody about this, and I was like, I had no idea, and I have to watch that. And I absolutely have to watch it, because I want more Han in my life.
Dude, Han is sick. So, Kelly, actually, y'all, I don't know how much... Did they just watch this movie again, like, around the 5th movie, and be like... and base what happens to Han on his monologues, or what? Because his attitude makes so much sense. I don't know. I don't want to spoil it for Kelly, but his attitude makes so much sense for like if this was between 6 and 7.
Yeah,
I think that movie Better Luck Tomorrow kind of deals with these affluent Asian Americans that get caught up in petty crime and theft. It seems like it provides like a really good basis for how this dude is in Tokyo Drift, even though we don't really get any background.
Yeah, so let's watch that. Let's absolutely plug that in at some point. I think that could totally fit into this series.
Another thing that blew my mind in this movie, as it's going on, you start hearing about what's the asshole Drift King? Is that Takahashi?
DK. Just call him DK.
DK, right? So DK, you hear about he's got an uncle in the Yakuza, and I'm watching this thing and I'm like, oh man, I hope they bring out like an old school baddie to be this dude's uncle. and then holy shit, it's fucking Sonny Chiba.
Yeah,
Like,
right?
one of the greatest Japanese like martial arts movie stars of all time. So that was like that really won me over right there.
Justin Lin coming into this series is the best thing that happened to this series, period. I remember at the time, and I had not watched these movies when they were coming out, but I just read way too much movie news and crap like that. And people were like, they're bringing back Justin Lin to do the fourth movie. Did anybody watch Tokyo Drift? And last episode, I speculated that Tokyo Drift was the worst rated Fast and Furious movie. It turns out that was Too Fast, Too Furious. Too Fast, Too Furious has like a 36% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Tokyo Drift has 37%. So it's slightly better, but people just hated this movie. And I get it. So much of it is not good, but there is so much great stuff in it. Like the last 20 minutes are fantastic, right? I mean, like it's next level great.
I mean, how cool is it that Lucas Black's idea is to just, I have this problem, I'm just going to go talk to a Yakuza lord. I'm just going to go talk to him.
Yeah, that's what the Yakuza are known for.
Yeah, but it's really interesting because it seems like the Yakuza lord actually really appreciates how straight up he is. He's obviously really annoyed by his nephew, and like ends up being super chill about him totally humiliating his nephew and like running him off of a cliff.
Yeah, he totally honored the deal there at the end, didn't he?
Just the whole idea of like, I'm going to go talk to him.
Yeah.
Is really good.
You know what, y'all? I got a problem. I'm gonna man up. I'm gonna do it myself.
I did like the his like Navy father kind of coming through there at the end.
Yep.
Like that was bringing the family back a little bit, and then they get you with Dominic at the very end there, and I lost it, you guys.
So I read a story about that, how that happened. Are you guys familiar with like how that cameo actually came about?
No idea.
Okay, well this is cool. I think you'll enjoy this. So they shot the movie, and first off, they were going to have Brian in it, but the studio was like, no, Paul Walker's too old. He's not going to resonate. Just guy's too old. So they got Lucas Black, which is, I mean, Lucas Black charisma-wise versus Paul Walker. Yeah, makes sense. They shoot the film, and then they test screen it, and it's terrible. The audiences hate it. They're like, what the hell? We're not doing this. No, thank you. Like, we got to get Vin Diesel back for a cameo. And Vin Diesel's like, I'll do it, but you have to give me the rights to the character of Riddick, because like the second movie he wasn't in because he did Chronicles of Riddick, and he was so invested in this character of Riddick. He's like, I will do a cameo in Tokyo Drift if you give me the rights to Riddick free and clear. And Universal gave him the rights to Riddick. They're like, fuck it, here it is, go, take it. Vin Diesel self-financed a third Riddick movie called Riddick, which I've never seen. I did see Chronicles of Riddick, but he agreed to go in and shoot that scene just to get the rights to Riddick.
Incredible.
I gotta see Riddick.
I do too now.
We got a new miniseries coming up.
Dimas Today presents The Fast and the Curious, the Chronicles of Riddick. Yeah, the stuff writes itself. It's perfect.
Another thing with this movie is it's like another iteration of racing, and like drifting was certainly something I knew nothing about, and I think I had it mixed up with drafting, which is something they do in NASCAR, and so I was actually kind of blown away, and then I was reading up that it was really Justin Lin who hammered home that this had to be about drifting racing, and they had all these like legendary Japanese race car drivers, drift kings, I guess, DKs, involved, and doing the driving and overseeing all of that. I thought that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, and evidently, like a couple tire companies donated 4,000 tires for them to make this film, and over 150 cars were wrecked filming this movie. I mean, it's nuts. But I really, really, again, not a car guy, I really appreciated the driving of this movie. It was really cool to see people manipulate automobiles in that way.
But doesn't he isn't Sean driving an American car at the end?
He is, but it has a Japanese engine in it.
Okay.
Yeah, they remember the authorities or whoever had raided everything out of Han's shop except for a totaled car. And then they go in and they're like, hey, Sean, look, perfect engine in this totaled car. And then they go to their to Sean's
his dad's car.
Yeah, and they drop that Japanese engine in the American car.
Yeah, and that's kind of like a paying respects to the whole Dom and his dad's car thing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Dad's car.
So, Kelly, what do you think about what's coming? What are you speculating as far as the fourth movie?
Well, gosh, you have to hope they're going to tease you with Dominic that we're going to get some of the OGs back for the next movie. I want my Dominic. I want my Brian back together again. I would love some Michelle Rodriguez. Still probably my favorite core actors, but the strong roles in the last couple movies, would love a way. I know that Tyrese comes back at some point, which is great. You mentioned maybe Bow Wow later on. Somehow getting these Tokyo cats involved whenever the timeline kind of reconnects. But
oh my God, I can't wait for you to get to this other stuff.
I know. At this point, Kelly, I just got to say you've done your homework, man. The hardest part is behind you.
It's so true. It's like watching Star Wars. It's like watching Star Wars from 1, 2, 3 to the end.
it really is. So
the prequels are done.
And again, like the fourth.
Fuck Jar Jar.
Right. The
Jar Jar is like exactly like the second movie.
Yeah.
It's like the second movie is which one is Jar Jar Binks in? The first.
Yeah, he's heavy in Phantom Menace, and then hated so much.
No, it's just the first three. It's just the first three are the toughest. Now it's home free. You're not going to believe the production value.
So 4 again, the lowest point of what's coming. It's good. 4 is fun. It's different. After 4, it exponentially amps up and gets so fun. So
God, they get you. Yeah, they're about to get you.
They really, really are.
I noticed it's titled Fast and Furious. That's the fourth movie.
Yeah, they really start trying to figure out ways to keep it named Fast and Furious without
it feels like a new baseline. Is it a new baseline?
It kind of is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
You guys, this has been really great. I can't believe I'm sitting here 3 movies in, this pumped about a franchise that I used to think was so far outside my wheelhouse. I'm not a car guy. I never have been and never will be. But maybe a little bit is rubbing off on me now. Maybe I give a shit about an engine, and I definitely care about nitrous tanks. Because if there's one thing I've learned is that nitrous tanks will just get you out of anything.
Anything at all. One thing I learned watching this series is that Nas is an actual drink that humans drink. I never knew that. I thought it was something that went in cars.
Good.
Is it? Okay. All right.
It's the best of all energy drinks.
I'm going to order a case through Amazon Fresh. And
dude, get the blue flavored ones. It's like every insane thing in an energy drink all combined in one energy drink. You feel your insides getting nuked as you drink it, but it's amazing.
Yes. I love it. So
one thing I miss, in the later movies, is when they actually show the anatomy of the car when they hit the NOS,
Yeah. They do that thing that movies in the late 90s, early 90s did where they do the CGI coursing through whatever. Fight Club did it with the brain and the body, right? Hey, Jimmy's got a computer. He can do some graphics. Fuck it. Get the Chemical Brothers to score something while we show this.
No, and the music in this movie, we got some Kid Rock in this one.
Oh, thank you for bringing up Kid Rock, because it was oh, God, the music regressed so bad. But then once he gets to Japan, it's fine. It's but you have to sit through Kid Rock, and that's awful. So I should have apologized beforehand, Kelly, that you had to sit through Kid Rock.
It's okay. There was actually a lot of Japanese hip hop on that soundtrack. The Tokyo Drift song was really, really good, I thought.
It's the music only gets better. it only gets better. It gets way less extreme-y and just chill and fucking great beats. So
Like does it lose some of the Woodstock 99?
it does. It really moves away from that and more into like really solid hip hop. I had never heard 2 Chainz before I watched Fast and Furious.
Ooh.
Now I can say I've downloaded at least 3 2 Chainz songs.
Oh man.
Well, that about wraps it up. We'd encourage everybody to just send Jasmin Kaset all the money that they have because she desperately needs it. Is that
Send me your stimulus checks.
Hey, my rent check's coming on the 1st, all right?
Send it to Kelly. It'll still come to me.
No, but seriously, this has been a lot of fun. Thanks for coming on. We're definitely going to have you back as we get further into the series.
This has been a hoot. Thank you so much, Jasmin. And also thank you to Michael Eads, our producer, and We Own This Town, without which this podcast would not be possible.
That's right. He's at home still pumping this thing out to all of y'all.
Yes, he is.
I can't wait till y'all are talking about 8.
Okay. All right. Do you want
8's my
Do
least favorite.
you want back in
band.
on 8? We can have you back for 8. Would you like to come back?
Well, I don't know. We'll see it. We'll just see how this one play. We'll see what the community response to this one is, I guess.
Oh, I think we're gonna get blowed up, baby.
Overwhelmingly positive. Oh, we've had over 3 new listeners since we started this.
Yeah.
I mean, Kelly, this is just a very exciting time for you. It's one of those things where, like, I'm jealous of somebody that hasn't been on this journey yet, that gets to go on it for the first time.
Yep.
Yeah.